So welcome, Mary. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
So tell me what it is you wanted to focus on today for your session.
I think I want to focus more on time management. And when I say time management, more in the sense of I find that I'm able to plan and start things, but find it very difficult to finish them because I feel like I don't have enough time, like once everything's in motion. So really trying to sort of focus and see probably where the areas that I may be lacking or overlooking, or, you know, just really, yeah, trying to balance that really.
And if you sorted that, if you felt that you was able to manage your time management better, what difference would it make for your life?
I think I'll definitely be less stressed. I think I would feel more in control and have more charge of my life, whereas I feel like sometimes things are out of control and it makes me stressed, and yeah, I just feel like I'm not able to finish things, and I feel defeated in the sense of, you know, you start something and you're quite excited and then you're probably not able to finish it and things like that. So it would be nice to, yeah, just feel like I have more of a sense of control of my life, I think.
Tell me about a time when you have finished something, when you set a goal, you started working on it and you were able to accomplish it.
Feels like such a long time now, because for a little while I think I've been juggling the chaos. Probably when I've had like a set deadline or of a task, so maybe like when I've done an exam, or when I know I have no other choice but to sort of study and fit time in, or maybe when I'm training for, like, I do like 10K runs and things like that, so I have to sort of train for it. So I think, yes, something like that is probably an example of when I've had no other choice but to but to sort of, yeah, make sure I manage my time effectively. What's
different about that to now? What's different about those circumstances when you've had an exam or a 10K to you setting the goals and perhaps feeling overwhelmed about them? Tell me what's different about those situations.
I think with my own plans and goals, they have a deadline, but ultimately the deadline can be flexible because I'm managing that deadline, whereas with the other ones, it's sort of independent from me. So I have no other choice but to show up and make sure I'm doing what I'm doing. So that might be another reason, I think.
So what you're saying is, if it's someone else, if I say to you, I need you to be here today at 12 o'clock, you'll be here for me. But if you say for yourself, I need to be there at 12 o'clock, but no one's going to know if I don't do it, then I might not stick to it. Is that what
Possibly that may be what it is actually, yeah.
Yeah. How much do you share your goals that you set for yourself? So
I do with friends and like maybe some family members. But in regards to ownership of those goals, maybe just more to myself. So I don't really, like, nobody sort of, you know, challenging me in terms of like, have you said that? Have you know, finished that goal? And it's probably more encouraging, like, oh, how's it going with, you know, such and such goal or plan? You know, is it going okay? And then I can be honest and be like, oh, I haven't really looked at it, or yeah, it's going all right, or, you know. So it's more of a just sort of a feedback, a casual sort of feedback, as opposed to set targets and accomplishing those goals, I guess.
Am I hearing that you're good at planning?
Very good at planning.
Yeah, so, but it's the executing at the end. Okay, okay. And when you hear that you know, if someone else, if it's imposed by someone else, you'll do it. But then if you're kind of setting it, sometimes you'll be more flexible. What do you think when you hear yourself saying that?
Maybe that I don't prioritize my own goals.
What makes that the situation, do you think, that you perhaps don't prioritise your own goals?
Maybe I feel, I don't know, actually. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I can put anything on it. Maybe I feel like I can do it later on, or there's still a bit more leeway. Whereas with things that involve other people, it's almost like you've got to get it done at a particular time because somebody's dependent on that, if that makes sense.
I'm wondering if you thought a bit deeper about that, what message that possibly you're telling to yourself around that. You know, we're all talking to ourselves all the time. You know, we've got messages in our head, and I wonder what the message is saying around your goals versus what other people need.
Maybe I do. Maybe I put people before I put myself, and that's maybe something that I've done for a long time. That may be what it is. I don't know.
And when you say that, does it feel like that's true or not really? Because you said maybe not.
I don't know. If I'm totally honest with you, in my head, I feel like I'm a kind person, and I do like to do things for people, and I don't commit to doing anything for anybody that I don't feel I can do for them. So I wouldn't think that I'm putting someone before myself, because I wouldn't do anything for someone that I don't think I can do for them, if that makes sense. And the fact that I have goals and plans, I feel like that's the way that I'm thinking of myself. But probably I need to follow through with them and just take charge, possibly. Yeah, I've never really explored it, so I don't know.
So there's quite a few things that are coming out, which is the reason that you're not, is it that you prioritize other people? Is that, that's coming up as a question, other people's goals or commitments that you've made to them above the kind of goals and commitments to yourself is rising as a question that we can be curious about. And I guess the other question is if it's not that you're prioritizing other people, what else is getting in the way? Yeah, what is the thing that's getting in the way of you finishing?
Maybe it's me not being accountable about my goals, because I think like even when I have like an exam, that hasn't got to do with anybody else, that's for myself, but I know I have to do it, it's a deadline that I have to meet. Or, if I'm doing a 10K run, it's for myself, so it's not necessarily other people, and I am able to meet those deadlines. Even if I have like a weight loss goal or something, and I know, like for example, I'm going to be part of a wedding in a couple of months' time, and I know there's a bit of weight that I want to lose. I'd be dedicated to go to the gym and eat healthily and do things, and that's very much for myself. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure. I can't quite put my finger on why I don't prioritize those things. It may be a lack of discipline. It may be procrastination, potentially. It may be that I've put too many things on my plate to do, so I've over, or I've given myself too much expectation to complete something in a short amount of time. But I just know all I know is that I don't finish certain things that I've put my head to, or maybe I'm doing too many things at once and I'm not just doing one thing at a time. So yeah, I'm not quite sure.
If you can think about one of your goals that you haven't finished, can you share with me why it's important to you to complete it?
So one of the goals I've actually had that I can share is I've actually wanted to do a coaching course. And it's really important to me because a lot of people do come to me like asking for advice and asking for like guidance and for me to share some of my experiences with them and help them. And I don't just want to do it haphazardly and just in regards to casually. I'd rather do it knowing that I've got some credibility and some understanding in how I go about it. But it's been a goal that I haven't, it's probably been a goal for about 2 or 3 years and I haven't really focused on it. But it is something that I really, really want to do and I really want to complete. And I've set goals and deadlines to do it, and I've done some of the studying, but I haven't actually completed the course. And it's one of those courses that don't have a date. So it's almost like I can do it in my own time, like whenever I want to do it. And I think that in itself it gives me that leeway that I can sort of, I can procrastinate it, or I can say, next month or, middle of the year, I'll have it done by, rather than just committing to it and actually completing.
Okay. And the why was that people come to you for coaching anyway. When you complete it, what are you going to do? When you do complete it, what's going to happen next?
I feel that I can give coaching in regards to people that come to me, also potentially like even do it as a service, so something that I can add in regards to even at work, like offer those sort of services at work, and be able to use it in my daily life, and that's good on my CV as well. You know, it increases sort of, you know, a goal that I've wanted to achieve. So yeah, I'll definitely use it and use it to increase my profile as well as helping people. So when I work, I know I'm not just doing a job, and I do enjoy my job very much, but it's more than that. Like I can, you know, use those other skills.
So when I listen to what you said, it sounds like it's a nice to have. Okay. Like it would be nice to have that coaching qualification. I don't hear that it's really important to me, and that I really want it and need it, and it's going to move me on to whatever it is you want to do with it. And I wonder about that list of goals, how how urgent they are for you and how important they are for you, because that drives our completion. What do you think?
Maybe that's something I need to explore. I think it is. I think I definitely want to do it, but I probably need to explore the passion in regards to it, and maybe the reason why a bit more. It's definitely something that I want to do. I feel like with every goal, it can kind of have that element to it, that, oh, it'll be nice to one day have a new car, or one day have a new house, and one day have this and that. But like you said, there needs to be an element of passion and you know, yeah, a drive towards it, so to speak. So yeah, that's probably something that I do need to explore as well, that I probably haven't yet.
Everything you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. Yeah. So if you say yes to studying for your coaching qualification, you're saying no to something else, whether that's TV or going out with friends or whatever. So there's always a yes and a no. So for me to say yes to studying, then, you know, I'm saying no to these things. I really need to want to say yes to that, because I know it's taken me somewhere. If I think I'll say yes to that, but it means that at some point I'll get a qualification which I might or might not use, then actually let me just say yes to TV, or let me say yes to my girlfriends, because I know what I'm getting from that. And so I'm wondering about these goals. That the writing of a goal is one thing, the clarity around what it's going to deliver for you, how you're going to feel when you've got your coaching qualification, seeing your first client, the difference you make, or the first amount of money you get for something that you do normally. You know, when it becomes that real, then you complete it. But if it's just that, yeah, it'd be nice to complete it, and yeah, and that would be good, but I don't really know what the next step is. Sometimes that's the thing that's holding us back, because we haven't got, our vision's not clear. And I don't know what do you think about that in terms of the goals you're setting for yourself?
Yeah, I feel like you probably hit the nail on the head in regards to prioritizing. So I am a bit of a socialite. You know, I can get a bit distracted at times. So in the back of my mind, or sort of on this side of my head, I'm just like, yes, I want to achieve this goal and I want to do it. And then something will sort of creep up, or, you know, something will happen, and I'll be like, oh, I could probably go to that as well, and then just use the extra time to, you know. And sometimes I actually do feel like I get tired and overwhelmed. So while I may start, you know, I would sacrifice the TV and I wouldn't go out, and I'll do all the studying and I'll work really hard. But then I just get tired and I just feel overwhelmed, and I just feel like, oh, this is just too much. And that kind of holds me back as well. So I don't know if it's that I've put too much pressure on myself to complete something at an unrealistic time frame. So that might be something that I need to actually explore as well. But yeah, it is. I think it's a bit of a balance between priority and not getting distracted, and probably not being too hard on myself as well. Just having that balance across the whole line of things, really.
When you said you get tired when you get into this mode of like goals, you know, you get tired. Do you get tired in the same way when you're socializing or when you're doing your other work? Is it the same kind of tiredness?
Yeah, sometimes I do get tired of socializing, actually. That feels like work sometimes as well. Like I'm just like, oh, wish I could just send them a card or something, or give them a present, as opposed to going to their birthday. But I go because, you know, they mean a lot to me, and I want to show them that I love them and things like that. So yeah.
People are clearly really important to you, and actually, you know, balance in life is really important. So, you know, to sacrifice all of your friendships and relationships to just study or whatever it is, that's not necessarily a good thing, because that won't make you a rounded person. So the time management feels maybe more around balance.
Possibly, yeah.
And I wonder what you think, what is the right balance? How is the balance at the moment in your life around socialising or home time, or, you know, focusing on goals and that sort of thing?
I think it's definitely improved. I think towards last year, it was definitely not balanced. So I feel like I was socialising a lot because I was quite stressed at work. So it was a way to kind of, make myself feel a bit better. But then the socialising got too much, and I felt tired almost and like compelled. Like, I think once you go to one event, everybody wants to go to all of the events, and that was really tiring. And I feel like I maybe neglected myself during that time as well, in regards to, like, going back to what you were saying about prioritising yourself and how you feel and things that you want to do, as opposed to other things that people want you to do. So yeah, definitely balance is probably key. This year I've definitely improved with that. So I used to watch a lot more reality TV as well, as a way to unwind. But I've sort of, because it's online, a lot of them, in regards to, like, you can watch things on sort of like into BBC Interactive and iPlayer and all the rest of it. So you can watch them a lot later on, and like Netflix and things like that. So now I'm like reading a lot more, and I find that that's really good. I'm not socialising as much, like I'm just turning certain things down, and people are understanding once you give them a good explanation. I think work is okay as well, so it's not as stressful, and I feel like I'm managing my time at work. But yeah, I think it's more looking at those goals and fitting that into my life, so to speak, or do I need to fit my life around those goals? So that's probably something that I need to look at as well. Yeah. And I feel like the one thing you can't plan for is, you can't plan for, like, if family members or friends or something, someone's getting married, or someone's having a child, or someone's, you know, doing something. And I think those sort of creep up, and those pressures of balancing that at times as well. So yeah. Okay.
So it's really good to hear that you've got better at your balance, and that it's better than it was last year. So that's a really good step in the right direction. It feels a little bit like you might need to think about how much time you actually have. Maybe I really only want to commit 2 hours a week to my goals, you know, whatever it is, and then think about what you can realistically do in that time. So I think this is an important thing for you to do. Actually, how much time do I have? Rather than, these are all the things I want to do, let me try and squeeze them into that time. Be more realistic. I'm going to spend 2 hours every week on the coaching qualification. When I get it finished, I get it finished, but I know that I would have gone towards it. So I think start from the time you have and then fit it in, because it's, you know, you've got a full-time job, you've got social commitments, and it's what's left really, and you need to sleep. Yeah, you know, and sleep's really, really important. So around theories around time and good habits and that sort of thing, one of the things they talk about is bundling. Like, actually, if I want to do more reading and I want to keep fit, maybe I start listening to audiobooks while I'm cycling, you know. And I wonder if there's anything more you can do to bundle the things you want to achieve with things that you're already achieving, maybe. You know, are there ways, I don't know if you have a commute, or I don't know, are there times when you could do two things? You could kind of feel like you're achieving, you know, more than one thing, and put them together in a way.
Yeah, I definitely have to look into it, because I'm just thinking, if it's down to the coaching, I might be able to, like, read some of the manuals and stuff on the train to work. I need to look into that, where I can actually fit them in, but that does sound like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually already do that in regards to the listening to audiobooks while exercising, so that really,
Yes.
yeah, it helps. It's a good distraction in regards to like when you're running and you're not listening to anything. It's really, really hard to get through the whole run. So yeah, that definitely works. And I usually read on the train, but it might be a good idea to actually study on the train as opposed to read in regards to some of the things that I want to do. So that's a really, really good idea actually. And I've not explored that before. And I think you're right in regards to really looking at my time in terms of being a bit honest and realistic with my time. Something that I've been thinking about is actually changing things around. So I go to the gym first thing in the morning. Then I go to work, and then in the evening, that's when I commit to my goals. But I tend to find that I'm really tired that time. So it's hard to, so the amount of, for example, if I say I want to read a chapter or 2 chapters, within that time, it's really hard to commit to that because it depends on how tired I am or how much energy I have. Whereas if I do it first thing in the morning, I might have a lot more energy and strength to do those particular goals. So I'm thinking of going to the gym in the evening and actually trying to meet targets for my goals in the morning before work. So that's another way to explore the goals.
Yes, yeah. What time do you get up in the morning?
So I tend to get up around 4:30, between 4:30 and 5 a.m.
Have you tried to study or read before in the mornings? Have you had that approach before?
No.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's going to be something to try. Yeah, I probably will have to do some sort of exercise just to wake me up because I think I'll be a bit sleepy. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a try. You know,
it's worth trying, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Another thing that I've come across before is a website called stick.com, and I don't know if you've ever come across it. What they do is they make you put a monetary value against your goal. So, you know, if you say, I want to finish my coaching course by June, you put it on there and say how much you're putting up. You know, if I don't get it done, I have to pay £500.
Right.
And then you have a partner, you know, someone who would actually agree to it. So it might be your tutor to say, yes, you did do it. And if you don't do it, then you'll actually lose your money kind of thing.
Wow.
So, you know, if you really want something that's equivalent almost to the exam or to the, you know, to the 10K run or whatever, that would really, you know, there's a financial accountability that you can put in place. So that's another tool that some people use. Yeah. And another thing is just how can you make it easier? Yeah. And I'm wondering about the things that you're setting out for yourself. You know, how easy are they or how difficult are they? And in your mind and physically, you know, how are you making them for yourself?
I think they're all achievable. I just need to look at the time in which I want to achieve them. I think that's more, in my head I always think, oh yeah, I should be able to complete that by within a month or 2 months, or, you know, but actually probably I need 6 months to do it realistically, so I think that's more what I need to focus on, because it makes it difficult giving myself such a tight deadline. But I feel like if it's too far away, it's easy for me to procrastinate, especially like when I have a fitness goal. Like if I said, oh, I want to lose a stone, and I give myself like 3 months to lose the stone, I know the first month I'm not going to lose anything, and I'm going to have that last cake and that last donut and that last, you know, whereas if I give myself maybe 2 months or 6 weeks, I know literally every week counts, and I've got to try and lose at least £3 a week or something. So, yeah, I think I need to be a bit more realistic with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is you're pressure prompted. You need the pressure to prompt you into action.
I work really well under pressure, or I tend to, if I can manage it well.
Yeah. What that's saying to me is that you possibly need to break your goals down to smaller goals.
Right.
Yeah. So instead of saying I need to lose 14 pounds over 3 months, it's breaking that down into 3 and saying the first month I need to lose this amount. Yeah. Because what you're doing is you do leave it and you do pressurize yourself at, you know, when it gets closer to 3 months. But if your deadline was a month and you needed to lose a smaller amount of weight, then that would keep you going, that would keep you motivated. And what do you do to reward yourself when you do achieve things?
I don't know if I do, or maybe I'd like just crash. Like I'm literally like, yay, I finally completed the goal, and I literally just don't do nothing. Something like that anyway. So yeah, I don't know if I do. really reward myself.
So definitely some things to think about in terms of breaking your goal down into much smaller goals, and then thinking about some kind of celebration or reward at the end of that smaller goal. So I want to lose 14 pounds. At the end of the first month, if I've got my target, what am I going to do? What's the reward for me? Okay, tick, now let me do the second month. And then you've got milestones. But you do have to trick your brain into really believing them, you know, and really knowing that actually if I can do that, I can break it down, and that does make a difference, rather than I can leave it to the last minute and sort of do a crash diet more, you know. And the idea, you said you share it with friends and family sometimes, but they just ask you how you're getting on. So they don't really hold you accountable. If you don't do it, they don't say, oh, you know, why haven't you done it, or how can you do it? So I'm curious about that accountability aspect, because I don't know if you think breaking it down would hold you more accountable. If you do the same thing, no one knows, so it doesn't matter. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it depends on what it is. So probably with the coaching, maybe I'd do it for the first month or two, and then if I have a bad month, I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just try and fix it again, or I'll rush towards the end. So I probably need to see someone that I can have that accountability with. I do have a friend that I do talk to, and we do try to be accountable to each other about goals, but we're probably not as strict as we should be. And just because sometimes when you don't achieve a goal, it kind of does make you feel bad about yourself, and you kind of feel low, and you kind of feel defeated and a bit like a failure. So you don't want to entertain those thoughts, because it makes you lose motivation. I kind of feel demotivated if I feel like a failure. So it's more centered around sort of encouraging each other to, like, okay, don't beat yourself up about it and keep on going. But I think we do potentially need to be like, actually, that's not probably like the money thing that you said in regards to, okay, if we don't achieve the goals, we lose money. So I think probably that might be a good idea to incorporate into the goal setting and planning and all the rest of it.
You brought in doubt then, so it was like, I wanted it, but if we don't, so we're almost like covering ourselves in case we don't. And then if we put that doubt in, oh, I might not, then it's less likely that we do, because you're bringing in uncertainty, rather than if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. It's quite different, isn't it? Quite different to if I say I'm going to do it, but I might not. So let's just be nice to each other in case. Do you see the difference? Quite a different shift. Who don't you want to let down? Who would you, if you said I'm gonna achieve that, you would just never want to go back to them and tell them that you haven't?
I think myself, to be honest with you. I've got a very supportive family, so there's nothing that I can do, and I've seen it in my life anyway, that if I don't achieve it, they're going to sort of look at me another way. And my friends are very much the same, but I'd hate to see myself in like 5 years' time and have all these goals and ambitions and everything that I've put down to do, and then I look back at the goal and it's not achieved. Like, I'll just feel so deflated, like, no, we could have done this, it was so possible. But it didn't happen. So I think myself, like, I owe it to myself to do it. I think I am the person that I don't want to let down.
Okay. So the realistic planning sounds like a key part of it. Yeah. And also this idea of failure and success. If you don't hit your goal by 6 months, what happens? Do you just think, oh, I'll forget that goal? Do you recalibrate and then say, okay, it's going to take me another 6 months? What happens if you haven't given the right amount of time for something? What happens with you?
So it's more, I give myself some more time.
Okay.
Yeah, but maybe before the 6 months is over. So like maybe halfway through, I'm just like, okay, am I really going to finish this in, let's just say if the deadline was June and it got to April, I'll sort of look and think, am I really going to finish this by June? Maybe it will be September, and then things like that. So I'll now start working towards September.
Okay. So I just want to check in really, because we talked about time management and we've talked about procrastination, but it also sounds like I'm trying to check what the challenge is. Is it that maybe you don't do things by the time you want to do them, but you're still working on them? Or is it that actually you're not doing them? Yeah. What's the reality?
Probably a bit of both. And that's the thing, because I have so many different goals that are working to like align. Like I may have 4 goals that I want to achieve, and maybe I'd achieve 1 out of the 4.
Okay.
But I'd feel bad that I didn't achieve the other 3,
Right.
or I haven't achieved them yet. So there's still a goal. Like I'm still working toward. Like there's no goal that I want to achieve that I just leave alone and say, okay, it didn't happen. It's never going to happen. I always have it in the back of my mind that no, I want to do it. It's just taking a lot longer. So it's still on still on my list to do. So yeah, definitely, I wouldn't give up, because that for me would be giving up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more. But like I think, like you said, I didn't meet my deadline, and maybe I wasn't realistic with my deadline because I'm doing so many things at once, and that's probably where I feel like I don't have the right time to manage things.
What if you only worked on one goal at a time?
It would feel like all the other goals were miles and miles away, and the motivation I would kind of feel like the motivation wouldn't be there. So I kind of want to feel like I'm doing something in the background to sort of keep them alive, if that makes sense. But I probably need to prioritize them as opposed to do them all at the same time. Yeah, I think that's more what I need to do.
Okay.
Yeah, step-by-step type planning.
Okay, so I will check your thinking here, because if you work on one thing, what could be the benefits of that?
Probably being more focused. It would give me the opportunity to be balanced and to have the time to still maybe have a social life and all the other things that I'm thinking about. Maybe it'll make me feel like I have enough time and I'm less stressed, and maybe I'm in a bit more control. And that I can achieve the goal in a realistic amount of time, if that makes sense as well, because there's not pressures of other goals. I guess those are the benefits.
And when you listen to them back, do you still feel that it's important for you to still be working in the background on the others as well?
It's one of those things where it would be nice. So it's not like I have to do it, but it would be so good if I could kind of do them at a similar time. So it's not like I've got 4 goals and it's going to take me 10 years to achieve them. I'd like to have 4 goals and achieve them in 4 years, but maybe that's not realistic. So I need to actually just think, okay, if it's going to be 10 years, it's going to be 10 years.
Well, if you want to do them in 4 years, you have to ask yourself, what are you just going to stop doing? Yeah. So what are you willing to sacrifice to do them in a much shorter space of time? I think anything's achievable. Yeah, it's all possible, but something will have to give somewhere. So it sounds like if you keep doing what you're doing right now, it's going to take probably the time that you're putting into it, because you've got a certain amount of time to do them. So if you want to do them much quicker than how it's working currently, something else would need to shift significantly, and it's whether or not you're willing for that to happen.
If I knew 100% that I could achieve the goal in the time that I've given myself, I don't think I'd mind sacrificing whatever I need to give up. So I kind of just need to be confident in myself that I can actually achieve this in the time. And like you said, probably like not have any doubts and just have complete belief that it will get done in the time that I want it to. And yeah, I think the sacrifice would be worth it. I wouldn't mind sacrificing, because I know at the end of it, this is what I would have achieved. So
within whose power is it to know whether 100% you'll achieve it?
I guess mine. because I'm the only one that's going to do it. Yeah.
Do you trust yourself?
Some days more, some days more than others, but yeah, I think I do. I probably need to work on my faith in myself. But yeah, I definitely know it's possible. I just need to know that I can do it, I guess. Yeah.
Well, what I'm hearing is you don't let other people down. They put their trust in you. And you help them out all the time. So if they trust you and they're not you, then I can't see any reason why you shouldn't trust yourself.
You're right. Yeah.
Because at the moment what you're doing is you're saying, just in case, I won't put my full effort in it, I won't let go of these things, and then I'll let myself off the hook a bit.
Yeah.
And you could just completely dedicate yourself to getting it done.
Yeah, that's probably right. So I need to look into that.
A bit of short-term pain for some long-term gain.
It's funny, my dad says that actually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so.
So what would be your first step to, I don't know, to trusting your own power, actually? This is what it feels like.
I don't know. Possibly looking at my past successes and just knowing that I've done it before, so I can do it again. Just having confidence that it's actually going to happen, like almost pretending or convincing myself that it's actually already happened or something along those lines, like just knowing 100% that it's just a done deal. Maybe that would give me a bit more confidence. Yeah. And I hear things like, and I do it, and I have done it in the past in regards to like words of affirmation and just sort of speaking over myself and saying positive things, and not entertaining negative thoughts, not doubting myself. Maybe I do tend to listen to a lot of positive sort of talks and motivational talks, things like that. So maybe just, continue listening to those things.
It's important to make it very real for you. So to put this plan together, which is 4 years from now, or whatever timescale you decide, I will have done these things, and then work back from that. And imagine it. Actually, how will I feel? What will I be saying to people? Who will be around me? What will I be doing? What will I be wearing? Really, it has to be real. Because the more real it is, the more likely you're going to take yourself there. When it feels like a dream, that's exactly what it kind of stays as being. So it's about really making this, like imagining it in very rich detail, and keeping yourself with that vision very clearly. So I know what it's going to be like when I get there. I know how I'm going to feel. I know how proud of myself I'm going to be. Yeah? I know that the sacrifices are going to be worthwhile. Actually get yourself into that space so that you can continually, when it gets hard and there's difficult days and it's a dark night or whatever, you can go, yeah, that's it. That's the place. That's what I'm working towards. And so there's stuff outside us which is useful, affirmations and everything else, and watching things. But there's something about you at your core knowing that I'm so clear on that. It's unwavering. And there's nothing you can't make possible if you really want it. So I think we're coming to the end of our time. What are you taking from our session today?
Having confidence in myself and my ability. incorporating more balance in my life. Being realistic with my time. Putting milestones in the goal setting that I have. Sort of, yeah, chopping them up into bite-sized pieces, which I probably do need to do. And being okay to have short-term pain for long-term gain. Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah.
So what will you actually do as a result of this session?
I think I need to write down my actual time in regards to the time that I actually have realistically, and look at that in regards to aligning that with the goals that I want to do, and seeing if it's more realistic to do the focus on one goal or still try and do everything at once. Also, just having time to reflect on my ability and myself, I think that's really important. And yeah, just knowing that I can actually achieve those goals and being confident in that, and having, yeah, complete and full confidence in that. I think that's probably the first step that I'm going to do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.